Hey guys, this is Jake at That Fit Friend, and today we're gonna be looking at the Reebok Nano X1 Adventure. Now, I will say out of all of the Nano 11 or X1, whatever you wanna call its iterations, I think that the Adventure is probably the coolest. I think there's a lot of attention to detail in the shoe that Reebok spent time physically thinking about and building out. And overall, there are three things that I really like about this model. Number one is the reworked upper construction. So compared to the vegan, grit, and traditional Nano 11, personally, I love this reworked flex weave upper. It feels very durable, very lightweight, and honestly, across the board, I think it's gonna be a really good bet for folks who like to train outdoors that are worried about the long-term durability of this shoe. The second thing that I really like about this model is the reworked outsole. Now, compared to the Nano 11, which I have right here, it's a similar structure when it comes to the overall tread and patterning. However, the lug patterning in the Adventure is a little bit thicker, so they come out a bit more. You get a bit more traction on gravel, dirt, and just training outdoors in the grass too. So I really do like that detail, and honestly, overall, in the gym, it just feels as good as the regular Nano 11. So you don't have to really worry about sacrificing any of your stability in the shoe despite having slightly thicker lugs on the bottom of the outsole. The third thing that I like about the shoe is just the overall attention to detail. So factor in the upper, the reworked outsole, and the reworked lacing system. So we have lace lock up here on the top eyelet. I think this shoe is a really good model for tackling outdoor tasks and gym focused training. So if you are somebody who likes to train outdoors just as much as they like to go hard in the gym, I think the Adventure is a pretty good model, especially if you're looking for a cross training shoe and not necessarily a fully dedicated trail runner. So overall, those are my three pros with this model. I do really like the attention to detail that Reebok spent on this model, but now let's talk about a couple of cons that I have noticed. So two potential cons I could see folks having is number one, the laces are pretty dang long. So this is fully laced up. I have them through the lace lock back here. And even when you double loop these, like you still have a lot of room. So what I would say is just be very conscious of the overall lacing and how you are lacing your shoes if you want to limit these guys getting stuck on bushes or coming undone as you're running outside. Whatever you might be doing, pay very close attention to how you are lacing up this model. The second potential con I can see folks having is that it's still a Nano 11. It's not going to be as stable as the Nano 8, 9, and 10. So if you are that more dedicated lifting focused athlete and you don't necessarily worry about going outdoors in the shoe and you don't necessarily want some of the proprietary features of the construction of this model, then I would say look at older Nano models. Just keep in mind that with the Nano 11 construction, there is a higher heel to toe offset compared to prior models, and the Float Ride Energy foam midsole is not necessarily as stable as prior models as well. So keep that in mind. But overall, I have really enjoyed training in this shoe, and honestly, my cons are pretty minuscule at that, especially if you understand like the niche focused activities that this shoe is designed to tackle. But now let's talk about the by far the best part of this review, and that is the performance section. So when chatting performance, we're gonna break this section into a few different categories. We're gonna talk about lifting, agility, plyometric, and HIIT training, and then shorter runs and daily wear. So when it comes to lifting, the Nano 11 I think is plenty stable for just the recreational lifter or functional fitness athlete that isn't pushing anything over like 450, 500 pounds regularly. The overall stability in the shoe, while not being as great as prior Nano models, I think is pretty good across the board, especially for just the recreational lifter. So if that is you and your loading sits anywhere from like 200, 300 to 400-ish pounds, I think you should be fine with the overall stability of this model. Just do note that the heel to toe offset in the shoe is higher than prior Nano models, and the Float Ride Energy foam midsole is not necessarily going to give you as much stability as previous models. When it comes to agility, plyos, and HIIT training, I do really like the Nano 11 Adventure. Now, when it comes to, is it better than the other Nano 11 iterations? Not necessarily, but I do think that you get a bit more reactiveness and responsiveness with the Nano 11 compared to previous Nano models. So if you are somebody who is doing classes, HIIT training, or if you're just worried about doing a lot of plyos in your work, I think this model is actually a bit better for folks who do those styles of activities more outdoors compared to indoors. If you do those indoors, then honestly, any Nano 11 model will work for you. And there's nothing really proprietary about this model that would make it excel in that style of activity over the other models unless you are training outdoors. Now, when it comes to shorter runs and daily wear, this is where I think this model excels because it is the Adventure. It is designed to tackle more outdoor focused activities and prolong the durability and life of the shoe. So if you are somebody who wants a shoe for casual trail runs or working outside in the grass, I think that this model is going to be better than the other Nano 11 models and honestly a lot of other cross trainers on the market. Plus, I think with the reworked outsole and just the beefed up construction of the upper, this shoe should go the distance for you when training outside. This has actually been one of my go-to models for pickleball lately. I know it's not designed for pickleball, but overall it's performed really well. And like, to be honest, you can't even really see breakdown in the outsole despite wearing these like 2 or 3 times now and scuffing them up a lot while playing pickleball. On a daily wear basis, I do like this model. What I will say is like, this colorway isn't the most aesthetic for me. I would actually prefer like the black, white, and gray colorway. But overall for daily wear, the shoe is fairly comfortable, and honestly wearing them out and about to run errands, walk the dogs in, they're fairly comfortable. So if you do want this model for outdoor training, lifting in the gym, and just wearing on a day-to-day basis, I think this model is a good bet. Plus, again, it is the Adventure, so we do have that more outdoor focused construction. So overall, I think it's gonna be a good model for daily wear when it comes to durability. So now let's answer the question, is the Reebok Nano X1 11 Adventure worth it? I think if you are somebody who likes to train outdoors a lot on a weekly basis and you want a shoe that has decent durability and can support that style of training, then I think this model is certainly worth it. If you're not necessarily worried about training outdoors and you are interested in Nano models, look at the Nano 10, it's marked down and on sale right now, or the other Nano 11 iterations, they should be just as fine. But if you do want that availability to train outdoors with some beefed up durability, then I do think the Nano 11 Adventure is definitely worth it. So when it comes to sizing and fit in the Nano 11 Adventure, you should be fairly safe going true to size. And I would say stick with the same size that you normally wear in your Reebok Nanos if you've ever worn this model line before. When it comes to price in the Reebok Nano 11 Adventure, you can expect to pay $130 USD. Now, when compared to the other Nano 11 iterations, this is right in line with their price points. And honestly, I was actually expecting this shoe to be a little bit more because it is kind of reworked and much more niche. But overall, I think the price point is fair, especially for somebody who likes to train outdoors. All right, so now let's go over the construction of the Nano 11 Adventure. Throughout this construction section, I'm also going to be showing you how it differs from the Nano 11, just to kill 2 birds with 1 stone and honestly save you a little bit of time too. So up here throughout the upper, I mentioned that the upper has been reworked compared to the prior model. We have a flex weave knit material. Compared to the normal Nano 11, this has more of like a breathable mesh. And overall, I really like this upper better. It honestly kind of gives this Nano 11 Adventure more of an athletic feel. Like you can kind of see that the traditional Nano 11's upper is like kind of baggy and looks like a little bit wider, whereas this model is a bit more, I think, dialed in when it comes to like giving you a more thin / athletic feel. Making our way to the outsole, we have an outsole lip that wraps up here on the toe, and honestly the outsole patterning and construction as a whole is similar to the Nano 11, but what I will say is if you look at the lug patterning here on the Nano 11 versus the Nano 11 Adventure, like you can see just how thick they are. The lug patterning on the Nano 11 Adventure is very, very, very thick. So you can really dig into the outdoors if you're training on grass, gravel, dirt, etc. Is it going to be as good as some trail running focused shoes? Not necessarily, that are so niche in nature, but I think for giving you a nice hybrid blend of a shoe that you can take to the gym and train outdoors in, this lug patterning does a really good job. The midsole construction still has the Float Ride Energy Foam midsole, gives you a nice responsive feel throughout. It is very similar to the Nano 11, as in the exact same. And making our way to the midfoot, we have 4 eyelets that run up, a 5th plastic one back here with the lace locking tech. Personally, I really like this midfoot construction in this model. And my only gripe is once again, the lace length. I do think the laces are a bit long, but looking at the Nano 11, you can see that this whole midfoot has pretty much been reworked overall, especially when looking at these bottom 2 eyelets here on the Nano 11. So overall, I do really like this reworked up midfoot here in the Nano 11 Adventure. The laces are just a bit long for my liking. We also have that Nano 11 outdoor branding on the tongue. Overall, same tongue construction as the Nano 11 for the most part. And then making our way to the heel, we have some Nano branding that goes up, similar to the other models. The one difference though is that this Nano is like stitched in versus this one where it feels a bit more raised. And then overall with the boot itself, we still have this TPU speed chases throughout. And honestly, I think that the boot is a bit more comfortable in this model compared to the Nano 11. Like it may not look like it, but just looking at the overall, like, I think shape of the sharpness of the boot lip back here, I never really noticed any form of like friction here on the malleolus, on the lateral and medial side, like I did the traditional Nano 11 when I first tried them on. So I think maybe this shoe is a bit more comfortable. I could be totally wrong there, but you guys will have to let me know if you do try this model. And then lastly, we do have an insole that removes, similar to the other Nano 11 models. But overall, I think those are the biggest construction callouts with this shoe for how it differs from the Nano 11. If you have any questions on the construction of the Nano 11 Adventure and how it compares to the other models, hit me in the comments below and I will gladly answer whatever you have. All right guys, that wraps up my review of the Nano 11 Adventure. Overall, I think this is probably my favorite Nano 11 iteration to date. And if you have any questions on this model, make sure you hit me in the comments below or reach out to me personally. I always like to answer whatever you have and help you out deciding if the shoe is worth it for you, etc. But as always guys, drop a like on the video, drop subscribe on the channel. I'll see you guys in the next one.